In the old days, love was pure and true. Now it's just a show for all to view. People use it for their own gain, leaving hearts in sorrow and pain. Once a sacred bond, now just a game. Hearts are broken, never quite the same. Love used to be a beacon bright, now it's lost in the shadows of the night. Oh, how we long for those days of yore, when love was honest forevermore. But now it's twisted, tainted and cruel, leaving us drowning in an endless pool. What can we do? In the spiritual world, all seems bright, but shadows lurk in the dead of night. Half of humanity wears a wicked guise, evil deeds hidden behind virtuous eyes. Beneath the surface, a darkness lies, masks of deceit veiling their lies. In this realm where good and evil collide, the line between them is blurred, hard to decide. So tread carefully in this world so grand, for not all that glitters is gold in the sand. In the spiritual realm where illusions endure, evil and good dance in eternal obscure. Just imagine that. Karma doesn't ask you how you want it, it just comes and take it. So be careful how you treat others on your way up the ladder, cause your way down, trust me. In a world of empty stares, fake love fills the air. Sincerity's distant glare, leaving hearts in deep despair. Truth is lost in a web of lies, hiding behind deceitful eyes. Love that fades and slowly dies, leaving us with heavy sighs. Aching souls in a loveless land, yearning for a genuine hand, but fake love rules with cruel demand, leaving us to understand. In this age of like and retweets, we've forgotten what real love truly means. It's not just about show and tell, but a feeling that makes our hearts swell. It's hard to know who's true and who's fake in a world where appearances are hard to shake. But real love is deeper than a profile pic. It's in the way that someone makes your soul click. So let's not get lost in the digital haze. Let's remember what real love truly conveys. It's not about followers or online fame, but a connection that sets our hearts aflame. In this world of make-believe, they all wear a smile, but behind the scenes, it's just a clever guys, puppets in their show, dancing in their stage. We're all just pieces of their charade. Beneath their mask of joy lies the tangled web, where secrets and deceits are carefully bred. Their lovey-dovey act is just for display. We're all caught up in their twisted play. So let's break free from this illusion so grand, and see through the facade with hearts unplanned. No longer pawns in their game of charade. Let's find our own path and not be swayed. I feel like I'm surrounded with people with strings attached to their back, waiting for their master's command. It's like when I was little, right, and I was reading Pinocchio. Every time that he told a lie, his nose grew. It's just that, in real life, their noses don't grow. Karma just catches. In the shadows we see, a love so pure and meek, but all that's left is a ghostly echo, a memory bleak, longing for a bond that's true in this world so cold and weak, yearning for the love we knew before the all turned antique, lost in illusions of affection, bleeding like the mist, hollow hearts yearn for connection in a realm dismissed, seeking solace in echoes of the past where love truly exists, but all we find are mere reflections of what love once kissed. Amidst the ruins of our hearts, we search for something real, yet all we grasp are faded echoes of what used to appeal in this world where love has become just a commodity to steal. It's just a little food for thought. Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble night. Continue to have a blessed and humble day. This y'all shorty Racheal. I want to welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast, right? So let's talk about it. Today we're going to be talking about our politicians for us. It's going to be part 2 of yesterday's live. And we're going to start our live off with what's going on in our schools, right, with the Board of Education. There's so many changes being done, right? This is part 2, right? Make sure y'all go check out part 1. We reviewed and reacted to videos of, more school employees getting arrested, right, for sexually assaulting students, right? The issues that is going on with the New York City schools with the LGBT books still being on the shelves, right? That was part 1 of our what's going on with our schools, right? We went into a couple topics. We reviewed and reacted to a couple videos. Shorty gave her perspective and her opinion, and I appreciate those that gave their perspective and their opinions. It is so much going on. Can we make a change? Can we make a difference? That's something that, like I keep saying on every live, it's something that's going to be up, that has to be up to us, every individual, right? We have to figure out, right, what's going on with ourselves. help ourselves out first, get ourselves on our feet in order to be able to help any other individual out there, right? And get united again. Maybe, to some it may sound crazy what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, like I said, man, this channel is to bring solutions. And for the longest, I just keep hearing people make excuses on top of excuses on why solutions won't work. And to me, right, unless you try out these solutions, you never know what the hell is going to work and what's not. So people making these excuses, oh, this can't work, that's not going to happen. Da, 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 da. Well, hello, it's called We the People. If we aim towards these legislators, we can make some changes towards the health system, towards the the education system, and much more. But people have gotten so lazy that, like I keep telling everyone, y'all keep forgetting about the 3 bureaus, right? Everybody's focused on just the presidential elections when we also to sit here and vote in these judges. We could vote in the DAs, the mayors, senators, governors. Man, I could just keep going. But people don't want to hear that. I guess, people just want to sit around and actually, I don't know, I guess they pretend that, how can I say, Superman is coming to save them. There's going to be somebody who's going to go into a phone booth that doesn't exist in the era of 2025 and just change. I mean, I guess they're going to pull a cell phone out in 2025 and change in front of everybody into Superman. I would love to see that because they never showed Superman actually change inside a booth. I mean, they just show him, shh, he rips his shirt open and that's it. But anyways, we're going to get right on topic with this, John, right? We're going to continue off on the video, right, that we left off on the last live, right? So we're going to listen to what she has to say. I was trying to watch a little bit of it before we got started, but I was like, you know what? Hey, screw it. Let me get this live started. So mind you, these videos I am watching with y'all live. I am reviewing and reacting with these videos with y'all live. Y'all go and get my honest opinion on these Jones, right? The next video we got here is a video that was sent to me, right? I was gonna do it, this morning, but I didn't do it, so I left it for tonight. It's called Trad Wives and Alpha Males: Gender Relations in the Blender. It is I guess the University of Chicago Institute of Politics, right? So I guess they're gonna be talking about the politicians, the policies, and much more. I'm not sure. I only watched 4 minutes of this video, and we're gonna review and react it with y'all. So we're gonna get started with this one, right? We're not gonna watch the whole video. We're just gonna watch a couple of them talk, see what they gotta say when it comes to the school board and much more. This is from Philly, right? Shorty is from North Philadelphia. I don't know what city and state you are from, but the politicians in your city, right? The people from the Board of Education in your city should be getting together. These types of meetings are public. You should be able to see what's being said, right, in the meetings from your city. So make sure y'all go check them out, right? For those that But like I said, let's get this started. My bad. I apologize. Too much, jibber jab.
Much, Mayor Parker, for coming. We know that you have a busy schedule, but we appreciate you allotting time for us. We will now hear from Board of Education President, Reginald L. Streeter, Esquire, who will deliver the occasion. President Streeter believes that public education is not only a civil right, but it's also a human right. He's a graduate of Germantown High School, has 2 children already attending the Philadelphia Public School, and I just asked him if his toddler is talking yet, and he said no. But we do know when the toddler starts talking, the first 3 words are going to be mommy, daddy, school. Join us in welcoming President Streeter to the stage.
It's like, no, let me stop.
Wow, I have to go after our mayor. Thank you, Monique. So good morning, everybody. And allow me to welcome you to the School District of Philadelphia's 2025 State of Public Education. Wasn't that an incredible performance by...
Did you write this or somebody written this for you?
Thank you so much for being here as we celebrate our amazing students. It is a distinct privilege to follow a dedicated champion of public education, our Mayor Sherrill Parker, who, from my understanding, is what would be considered a highly qualified, well-supported teacher in her time when she was a teacher.
Yo, I'm dead. Y'all gotta stop mentioning the fact that she's a teacher. Like, yo, she even admitted it, right? We was reviewing and reacting to what she had to say on that last live, right? And I just can't get over the fact how she misspelled that John. Like, I'm sitting here like, how you misspell Eagles? You're representing the city that this damn team is from. But she admitted to that, John. Like, she said her teacher from back in the days called, but I'm like, he was a teacher at one point. How in the world do you misspell Eagles? Like, you left out so many letters. But you know what? My bad. That's a topic. Listen, that's not even today's topic. Don't even get that started.
Madam Mayor, I know you had to leave, but we sincerely appreciate your unwavering dedication to our students. Thank you for being part of the village, advancing the future of public education. Before I dive into my remarks, I want to acknowledge the board members in attendance here. Could you all please stand for me, please? All of you, please.
For the real Slim Shady, please stand up. Please stand up.
I have not been around a more dedicated, talented collection of individuals in my life. And I'm around some talented folks as a trial attorney in Philadelphia. And I thank you all for sharing your time, your talents, your resources, and your energy and your spirit for our students. And thank you for making time this morning to be here this morning. Your hard work and commitment to our students is something to aspire to, and I genuinely enjoy leading alongside you. As a school district of Philadelphia graduate, president of the Board of Education, and father of 2 schools in the district, I can proudly say that I am STP.
You're what?
And that's what energizes me every day to serve alongside these amazing board members.
Oh, school district
Under
of
Dr.
Philadelphia.
Wallington's leadership, the district has done an incredible job rebuilding public education in our city by aligning resources, refining practices, and making progress toward the goals outlined in our strategic plan, Accelerate Philly, and has done a great job working with our unions. I believe we have some union leadership in the room. Thank you for being here as well. To support this work, the board remains laser focused on creating and overseeing policies and a budget to help every student succeed. We do this predominantly through our goals and guardrails, which center on increased academic achievement, college and career readiness, safe schools, family engagement, and eliminating systemic barriers to provide a well-rounded education for all students. Indeed, we aspire to educate the whole child. Dr. Wallington will provide a full picture update on the district's progress, but I will share that we are experiencing an educational renaissance right here in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Collective energy to launch our school district into the stratosphere, I believe, is indeed working. And I believe the board is excited. Is that right, board? We excited? That's right.
Wait, you trying to say what? What's working? Because teachers are having trouble with the curriculums. Like, it's not drawing the kids' attention. You know that back in the days, right, when we had teachers, they always found a way for to draw our attention, to get us into the education. These teachers can't even figure out how to draw these kids' attention. And what's crazy is, right, how can I say it? I'm not sure how it happened or how it's happening, but the kids are mixed up. I mean, I don't know if it's that they completely took out, the special education programs. I know they still exist, but they took some parts of these special education programs away. Because how is it that we still got kids with special needs in regular classrooms? Is it too many kids in this? It can be. There's like 200 and something schools from the last time that we checked. We did the last live, right? It was 200 and something schools in Philadelphia, right? And they were saying that they was only going to give funds to only 25 schools. I think it was here on the beginning of this live from that we did on the last live. And I was saying that we need more funds. I feel as though that what they're giving these schools is not enough funds. They're not giving them enough funds. The teachers being underpaid, not enough programs. We used to have so many programs growing up. Where they at? I hear so many teachers say that the curriculums that they're using isn't really working. The school board of education might think it does. I don't know why they think it's working. But let's ask these kids. Oh, my bad. We the people, nor the kids, right, that are part of we the people, know what's best for them. Blessings we on
This
Black
work
Nation.
has not been
Blessings.
easy for the board and the village, and the progress we have and will continue to make will not happen overnight. But the incremental changes we're seeing are a sign that we're moving as a collective in the right direction. That said, whether it's Project Rise for our charters or the aforementioned goals and guardrails, the board is united in its commitment to creating a system of public education in which we will utilize all the tools available to ensure that academic achievement and the conditions to educate the whole child are present. Indeed, we know our system of public education in
Move the mic
Philadelphia
back into
requires
your
strong
face.
policies and practices to ensure that we are stewards of a system that delivers high quality education in total. Moreover, we know that without these tools that our children receive from a quality public education, our students will be relegated to a future which they cannot realize any future they so desire, making economic apartheid and structural barriers an inescapable reality. Thus, our students lose ultimate agency and autonomy over their lives if we don't deliver. So it follows that this work is paramount, and we can't do it alone. Now more than ever, it takes a village. Whether it's Mama Gail, who I saw earlier, or Mr. Neubauer, we are indeed a village, and we need strong partnerships rooted in our students' best interests to continue strengthening our schools. Whether with families, educators, community organizations, or local businesses,
We do need
these
that.
collaborations will help drive our progress forward, creating an ecosystem of support that empowers our students to succeed and reach their full potential.
I agree with him on that.
So if you have any ideas of interest in discussing how we can work together to support our students and educators, I welcome you to reach out. It will take all of us working collaboratively on this vital work to build a brighter future for our children. The youth are counting on us, so we have to get this right. We will get this right. Join us. Thank you so much.
You said why now? We on Lock Nation is asking why now. Well, I don't know. I know in Philadelphia, I can't sit here and lie, right? In Philly, there has been a lot of us, right, community leaders coming together with different organizations, right, to try to get resources and programs back into our schools and into our communities. One of the programs that I'm hyped that came back because of us united and coming together is the Girl Scouts. And I feel as though that's one program that is beneficial for our young ladies, right? They learn about business, they learn about leadership, they learn how, to be organized, about structure. They learn about so many things, how to survive. So that was a program that was taken away, right? And not so long ago brought back. And they're still trying to, how can I say, get more funds to the point where they can help, let the kids, with low income come in, because now it's a fee to be a part of Girl Scouts. Before it used to be free. When we was younger, Girl Scouts was free, right? Every girl, right, between the ages, I think it was 5 and up, I'm not sure, was able to get into Girl Scouts, right? And their family didn't have to pay. But now the programs are back, but these programs come with fees now. Oh, I said the same thing. Yo, me and you are on the same page on that. Because I said the same thing. And to this day, I'm still asking, why were they taken away? I never understood the reason why they took a lot of these programs away, especially from middle school and high school. Like, when I was in middle school, they had sewing classes, they had cooking ed, they even had they even had I think I forgot what the class was called, right? But basically they were, preparing the kids that were graduating from no, it wasn't even on middle school, that was in high school. In high school they had the classes where they were preparing you, right? For example, you wanted to go to like the nursing field, to do whatever, but they was teaching us how to, take blood pressure, how to, inject the needles right on patients and stuff like that straight from high school. They took them type of programs away. They took a lot of programs away. A lot of us have asked. I mean, we could only assume. You see where I'm coming from? We could only assume why. But we should say they should have never been taken away in the first place. It is supposed to show you that these people don't want people of different minorities to compete. We All Lock Nation makes a good point right there. All right, give me 1 second. Let me answer this call and let them continue talking.
Thank you, Board President Streeter. Now it's time to hear from our superintendent, Tony B. Watlington, Sr. Dr. Watlington was sworn in as superintendent of the School District of Philadelphia in June of 2022. A collaborative and results-oriented leader, Dr. Watlington began his tenure by launching an aggressive 3-phase entry program and plan where he engaged more than 3,000 district stakeholders representing every region of the city to ensure that the new strategic plan was not just his plan, but our plan. Under Superintendent Watlington's leadership over the past 2 years, student attendance has increased. The 4-year graduation rate has increased. Test scores have increased for students in grades 3 through 8. The number of student dropouts has decreased by more than 1,400 students. And for the first time in a decade, the district's student enrollment has increased. That deserves an applause. For his leadership in accelerating academic achievement, Dr. Watlington was recently honored. He was named Superintendent of the Year. He received the honor from the District Administration Leadership Institute, also known as DOLLI. It's a national pre-K through 12th grade organization of about 14,000 school systems that provide leadership development opportunities for educators across the country. Join us in welcoming Superintendent of the Year, Dr. Tony B. Watlington, Sr. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, good morning. Please take your seats. Good morning. It's good to see all of you. Let me just say, don't we have the best district spokesperson in Monique Braxton? Give her a round of applause. All right. I also want to say a very special thank you to our Chief of Communications and Customer Service, Alex Coppage. Where are you? The organizer. She's in the back running the show. Thank you for your leadership. Dr. John Smith, Jr., the principal here at High School of the Future. Would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you for hosting us today. We want to thank all of our student ushers and volunteers, the people who provided the very nice refreshments and coffee, and the people who are responsible for this building cleanliness. It looks really good here at the School of the Future. So thank you very much. Certainly, we want to say thank you to all of you. We are in this together. This does not happen just by osmosis. As Ms. Braxton said, we've made some good progress, significant progress in the past 2 to 3 years. And it's a testament to really outstanding students, young people in the city of Philadelphia, and teachers and principals on the front line and school-based support staff who are not only the units of change, but they are helping to tap that talent. Sometimes that's obvious, and sometimes that's just a little bit less obvious. But they are certainly tapping into it. They're supported by some very fine individuals across the school district. And I want to say very special thank you to Mayor Parker for her leadership, her push to have quality seats. You can tell every time she speaks that she's adamant, and she's just not the politician giving the speech. She really is committed to ensuring that young people are able to live in the safest, cleanest, greenest city, big city in this country with access to economic opportunity for all. And we also want to thank her for that $250 million over the next 5 years. Let's give her a big round of applause. I have the good pleasure to work for 9 outstanding bosses,
Damn.
supervisors, and partners governance structure. And when the mayor talked about the dysfunction occurring across the nation's 14,000 school districts, I read the news every morning, and every morning one of my friends is fired somewhere in this country, particularly in some of the mid-sized and big city school districts. So I want to give the board a big round of applause for keeping us around for a while. Thank you.
But she said there's a dysfunction around 14,000 schools around the world. Why?
This is
Snap,
an
the
outstanding
phone
board
gonna
of
keep
education. They spend a lot of time in
Give
a
me 1
role
second,
that's
guys.
not
Let me answer the
paid.
phone real quick.
And what's unique about the school board in Philadelphia, I get a chance to look at other school board meetings in New York and Los Angeles and Chicago and Miami. Not that I don't have anything else to do, but I make the time to do it. And it's really interesting. This board spends its time focused on goals and guardrails. The board set some very high watermarks, some very high goals for us to meet over the next 5 years, and they monitor it in their meetings regularly. They do policy work, budget work around the goals and guardrails. So I can't say enough good things about the Board of Education. Under the leadership of President Reginald Streeter, Esquire, and Vice President Sarah Ashley Andrews, our new Vice President. Let's give the board one more round of applause, please. I also want to thank our union leaders who are here today. In a lot of
Let me pause him real quick, man. Let me apologize real quick because I had to send somebody real quick. Right? I keep hearing them say that they're doing so great. They're doing so. Yo, the calls don't stop. Hold on 1 second. What in the world?
big cities
Hello?
across the country, there's a very tough kind of caustic relationship. Now, don't get it twisted. We don't agree on everything, and they call us to the carpet from time to time. But I want to recognize 5 very fine union leaders and ask them to please stand, and I want us to applaud each one of them. Representing the School Police Association of Philadelphia Union, Bernadette Ambrose Smith, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you.
Ooh, okay. Listen, I got to hear about that. Because, right, he said representing the these are the school of Philadelphia, right? Guys, I have a petition. Make sure y'all check the description box. I don't know if I have the petition here, but I do have the petition on my community wall. I will repost it, right? Let's get some cameras into these schools, right? Let's get deeper background checks onto the employees that get hired into their schools. Let's get more security in our schools with, how high the rate has gone up with our kids committing suicide. I feel as though that these things are much needed. I want to give a shout out to all these parents out here that came together, right? And now we got some schools got cameras, right, from grades K all the way to third grade. We need more cameras. We need cameras in each and every one of these classrooms, right, so that we can see what has actually happened. And if one of our kids, end up going in front of a judge, these videos will help out our kids, and we could, also tell what's happening between the staff and the students with, the sexual assault cases rising up, more teachers having intercourse with students, the kids picking on kids, right? And people forget, right, that a lot of these fights they initiate in these schools, right? And they end up maybe a block or 2 blocks away from the school, probably in the kid's neighborhood, right? And nobody knows what happened, why this kid lost their life, why this kid is in a hospital. I could just keep going down the damn list, right? But either way, right, the solutions that we got for our kids for these schools, right, doesn't just benefit our kids, they also benefit the staff in our schools. That way we will be able to tell if the child started the situation or if it was the adult. I mean, I can go, I could really go into this right now, but that'll be a topic for another life where I can really break down, right, on how this would benefit not just the kids, but the parents and the staff, my bad. But yeah, I feel as though that them saying that they're getting better, I don't know. I don't see it yet. I feel as though that changes do still need to be made in our schools, right? And not just with the staff, but with these curriculums. What type of curriculums, right? Or how can we get these kids attention, draw their attention, right? To I don't know. I guess see the way school the way we used to. Do we need more programs? Are these programs needed? How can we draw the attention of these kids, right? When it comes to our community, like for example, what's crazy is, right? I feel as though that if I can manage to open this community center that I want to open, right? And it's kind of the same thing that they got right now with a lot of community centers, but the only difference is, right, that I'm trying to bring in a little bit of the old school, right, and mix it up with the new school. Boom, and it's drawing the kids' attentions. I just need to find a way to get funds to get all this done. So once I figure that out, right, we'll get these programs in for our kids, right? And a lot of these programs that I got in mind are a lot of programs that got taken away from these schools. So just make sure y'all check a shorty out.
Representing the Mid-Atlantic District Leader, 32 BJ, Service Employees International Union. Mr. John Bynum, would you please stand? You can't miss Mr. Bynum. He's almost as tall as I am. All right. Later in your night here at Local 34, representing Nicole Hunt and Kira Coleman. We're glad you're here.
Who you searching for? Looking like Future. I'm looking
also,
for.
I can't see out there, so but I'm sure they're here. Representing Teamsters Local 502, better known as the Commonwealth Association of School Administrators, or CASA, Dr. Robin P. Cooper. Dr. Cooper, good morning. In fact, we're going to be joining, trying to think differently about how we do professional development. And we're at the negotiate. We're talking about that, and we appreciate that, Dr. Cooper. I know you have a big conference coming up, and you're going to be working with us to do some things with leaders a little different. We appreciate that. And representing Mr. Art Steinberg, who is out of town today, I believe, president of the PFT. Ms. Wendy Coleman and Ms. LaShawna Coleman, are you here? Would you please stand to be recognized? There they are, right there.
You know what I don't get? They keep telling everybody to stand up so they can get recognized, but they should at least turn the camera around so we can see who they're talking about and what they look like.
Philadelphia Federation of Teachers, thank you for our continued partnership. We can't do this work without, on behalf of our students, without working together. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't thank many other key partners in this.
You just gonna be thanking
today.
people?
I think I saw.
Or is we gonna be talking about?
Thank you.
What we got to do?
Blue Cross Blue Shield. Certainly, we get significant financial investments over many years.
For real?
9th grade on track performance across a number of high schools, and the 4-year cohort graduation rate going up is a direct influence from the significant resources that have been provided by the Neubauer Family Foundation. I'll ask Mr. Joe Neubauer and Ms. Becky Cornejo, if you'll please stand and be recognized.
See, this is what I'm not getting. What they come and they tell us through social media or through the news broadcast, right, doesn't add up with what we're actually seeing, with what we're actually hearing, right, in these meetings and schools and stuff like that. If that's true, if the fundings are getting better, then tell me why only 25 schools out of 290 certain schools in Philadelphia are getting funded for certain programs. Why all these schools are underfunded. Why the teachers underpaid. Why don't we got the programs back? If we're doing so good, like you're saying, why is it that Philadelphia is hitting, our kids have low testing scores? Our goal is to make them go up, right? But according to y'all, our kids have a very low test score.
Thank you. Also, I think we may have representation from the William Penn Foundation. Would you please stand if you're here? Let's give the William Penn Foundation a round of applause. Thank all of you for your time, your talent, and certainly for your treasure. We really appreciate it. Now, to our students, families, teachers, principals, and nonprofit organizations, as well as philanthropic and business leaders, welcome to 2025 State of Schools. As Ms. Braxton said, we are SDP. I am SDP. I love the tagline. All right, she convinced me to take the tie off and wear the shirt and be twins this morning, at least for the next 40 minutes, because she said we have to get you out on time. The question that we asked early in the tenure here
Damn,
was
finally we
the
get to
same
the
question that the
questions and
Maasai
answers.
peoples in East Africa ask very often, and how are the children? And we want to come right back to that question again. And we want to be able to clearly think about how are our children. And I'm proud to tell you, we've got a lot of work to do, but our children are well on their way. We've got a very fine leadership team. It's a great board, great community support, great unions. We got a very fine cabinet, two excellent deputy superintendents, Deputy Superintendent Jermaine Dawson on the academic side, Colonel Oz Hill on operations. Stand up and take a bow. Deputy Super.
Sir, I would like to ask you, how do you feel about Linda McMahon running the Board of Education for all schools, huh?
Superintendents.
You over here just like shouting out everybody. I want to
can't
hear what you
quite
got to
see, but
talk
I almost
about.
look like you have on the same color tie today.
I'm about to pause this and start the other video.
And then all the cabinet members, from the Chief of Staff, Sarah Galbally, to Alex Cox, Jubilee, I see
They're still naming
Kim
people.
Newman, CFO Mike, Teresa Fleming.
So we giving people awards or what?
Our CIO and Kaylin Connolly. Did I miss anybody?
Catherine's in the
And all right, give them a big round of applause. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. The whole strategic plan is built on the best data set, research and data. We just say the best, one of the best for last, that's all. The chief of, listen to this title, the chief of evaluation, research, and accountability. Dr. Tanya Wolfer, stand up and let us give her a round of applause.
So is she the one that takes accountability for everything you just said? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm trying to figure out why is you there? Like, is y'all just shouting people out? Y'all got the comments off, and then y'all got this on the YouTube Kids. Is YouTube even noticing that they got these type of things on YouTube Kids? Like, why is this on YouTube Kids? Like, what, a 3-year-old is going to start out of nowhere just be interested in politics? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
Good to see you, Doctor.
I don't want to hear you keep promoting. I'm about to stop this video.
Is trending in the right direction, as well as student performance in grades 3 through 8. More in the lower grades 3 through 8 than the higher grades 3 through 8, but it's trending in the right direction nonetheless. The 4-year graduation rate is trending in the right direction, and the number of dropouts is trending down in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen,
he's saying that we got lesser kids
absolutely
dropping out.
Progress, and we should be proud of our young people. I want to get right into a district overview and then get right into a deeper dive into how we're doing. Many of you already know the School District of Philadelphia, the Board of Education under the board president and board vice president, the board members are responsible for the education of some 200,000 children in this city in multiple sectors. The School District of Philadelphia then is the 8th largest school district, as you well know, and there are 249 district operated schools. We're a very diverse population, majority African American. Second largest group of students are Latin students, and Latin students are the fastest growing population in the school district. And this district has a population of students who speak nearly 200 different languages. Incredibly diverse. And we see that diversity as a strength, and certainly not anything short of a strength.
Well, I can speak 2.5 different languages. I speak Spanish, English, a little bit of Italian, a little bit of French, but I only know a few words. I have to learn how to turn them into sentences when it comes to Italian and French. But I do understand the language. I don't know.
Historians remind me that we stand on the shoulders of great people who've served in this city.
I'm listening.
Certainly my mentor, Dr. Constance E. Clayton, often reminded me that it's really important to give our kids the very best, because the parents sure aren't leaving the best at home and send us anything but their best. And so I'm humbled to have the opportunity to continue to work in partnership with all the people who are here. And we look forward to actually celebrating the official unveiling because, as you know, our Board of Education renamed the 440 office building to the Dr. Constance E. Clayton Education Center. Big round of applause.
Here we go. You know, keep shouting
All
people
right,
out
now that
instead
you
of
know a
telling
little
us the
about who we
solutions.
are, let's get right into our strategic plan entitled Accelerate Philly.
That's what I've been waiting.
Because faith, a dream without a plan is nothing more than a wish, and faith without works is dead. So it's all about how well we execute on these 5 priorities.
I'm listening, Martin Luther
I'm
King
pleased to remind you that
2.0.
Board of Education unanimously approved Accelerate Philly in 2023. Thousands of Philadelphians had a part in helping to shape this plan, and so we're pleased that the public generally don't respond to this plan as President Streeter's plan or Vice President Andrews' plan or Tony's plan, but our plan, because so many people had an opportunity to participate in its development. There were a wide-ranging group of individuals from across the city who participated in the listening and learning tour. More than 100 people served on the transition team, and certainly we're pleased that it ended it culminated, in the development of a 5-year aggressive strategic plan, Accelerate Philly. The 5 focus areas you'll see, and these are intentionally in this order. 1, improve safety and well-being, both physical safety and social and emotional health and well-being. The reason why we want to call out social and emotional health and well-being is because since the 70s in the United States, when people have been polled in this country and they have asked, what do you want schools to focus on? Hardcore reading, math, and academic performance, or social and emotional development, interpersonal skills? Historically, the pendulum has been very high reading and math, especially since that famous report came out in 1983 from the Reagan White House called A Nation at Risk. The pendulum is starting to balance because people recognize there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of needs that our young people have. And so we have to balance both this push to improve test scores and to make sure that our children are healthy and well. That's why that for Area 1 is so important. And we're so pleased.
You want them healthy and well. I mean, maybe y'all should consider, right? I mean, the free lunches y'all giving out in Philadelphia and shit. So if a parent can't afford to send their child with lunch to school, their child ends up eating pizza with freaking baked beans. Like, I've heard so many kids complain. Like, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of schools that serve baked beans with whatever, side they got, whether it's hot dogs, pizza, oh my God. Listen, don't get me to lie about the menus right now, but I'm just stuck on the baked beans part with everything they eat. Like, who in the world want to eat baked beans with everything? Nobody. I don't listen. I think they see us as cowboys. Baked beans, we out in the wild.
That on the physical safety side,
need to fix that
we're
shit.
pleased the mayor and the police commissioner's leadership and others, and the very fine men and women in uniform, that crime and violent crime and gun violence are down in our city. We're really pleased.
What?
Area 2, to partner with families and community, as Mama Gail would remind us, to be equal partners, not to think that we know what's best for communities, but be equal partners and to listen intently to our families. Area 3, core business, to accelerate academic achievement for all student groups. Area 4, recruit.
Blessings, Gary. Blessings. Yo, listen, I ain't lying, yo. These kids out here, I've heard too many kids complain about them baked beans. I'm sitting here like, damn, man. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Yo, when I was going to school, we had the best little square pizzas and french fries. We had some burgers and stuff like that. Like, listen, the school lunches they got now, I don't know what's up, man. Like, we had free food and it was popping. Like, we didn't have to go to the line where you had to pay for the food. Shit, the free food alone was good. I didn't like eating cafeteria food because I was picky as shit, but I'm not going to sit here and lie, man. I love their pizza. They cheese pizzas was popping. I just don't eat swine. And all these schools got a thing with putting swine in like everything that they have. Like, listen, man, if I felt like eating Charlotte Webb's best friend, I forget what's his name. I forget his name. Snap. Oh, Babe, the pig in the city. No, wait, was it? I think I'm confusing the book and the. Was it Babe? Yo, listen, man. I sure you don't eat swine. So that's why I'm always against the school lunches. Listen, I don't know why they don't got another option. And they say they've changed it, but shit, I was just recently looking at my daughter's. I was in the school. I was in the lunch area in the school, right? And I was looking at the menu, and it says it right there. Their products carry pork. I was like, yo, but what if you Muslim? Like, ugh. I mean, school lunches now, I get the kids. And then baked beans next to everything. Listen, I don't want to even sit here and imagine what what it would taste like to take a bite of a slice of pizza and bake the beans. For real. Like a meatball sub and baked beans. I don't know. I don't think I like the combination, even listening to it. Meatball subs and baked beans. Like baked beans with everything. And then you got a milk carton and what is it, an apple juice? No, man, no wonder these kids' stomachs be all messed up. And my stomach will be messed up too. Like, we're gonna have to, like, I don't know, find a way as parents to get some chefs into these schools, like some real chefs, man. We're gonna have to make some gumbo, some rice, some beans, some steak. I don't know, but we're gonna have to get some real chefs in these schools and really feed our kids. And then get these programs in our schools too. So that way our kids will be occupied. Man, but these little nasty lunches, yo, I listen. God, thank you. Because listen, Lord, thank you for giving me the patience. Because boy,
Retain the best staff. I'm so pleased to hear the mayor talk about the importance of staffing teachers in particular, since there's
blessings, Lakin kisses, blessings. How you doing, guys? Make sure y'all go check out Gary Bust It Down, Brown, Lakin Kisses. We on Lock Nation. Let me see who else is on here. And Miss April Showers. Commander don't got a channel, but if y'all want to go sub up to Commander, man. Let's force Commander to go live one day. Go sub up and check Commander out. But make sure y'all go check everybody out in the chat. Yo, great. They got great channels, great conversations, great topics. Y'all will not be disappointed. But let's get back on this because I think I've been pausing it too much.
decline coming out of our universities, and they deliver high quality, cost effective operations. Now, this plan has 63 very clear and research based strategic actions. Dr. Wolford insisted that nothing get in this plan without some research to support it. And 47 of those have launched at some level. In addition to the strategic plan, we know there are 5 things that we're putting our time, our talent, and our treasure.
What is it? I'm listening to. What?
There are 5 things that we're focusing on throughout this plan.
Get it out!
Because we know this is what really makes the difference. And we've got research over 50 plus years that tells us this. Number one, the number one factor, regardless of your zip code, income, or any other characteristic,
Blue,
the
sit
number
down.
one factor influencing whether kids grow academically is if they have access to a highly qualified, well-supported, stable teacher over time. A student who's behind, who gets a highly qualified, well-supported, stable teacher 3 consecutive years can narrow gaps in performance. If the opposite happens, then the opposite happens.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna need either a Papa Duck, the word, or somebody to break down what the hell he just said. Is that good? I'm not even gonna rewind this back because I'm still feeling. I feel like I just dumbified myself. Wait a minute. Why can't it be all stable teachers? See, it's just the way he just phrased that, John. You know what it is, Ray? You're still in your hood mentality. You're gonna have to get out your hood mentality real quick and get into your professional mentality right now, because it's like, hold up, wait a minute. Yeah, Ray, like you can't sit here and react to these videos having a hood mentality. Shorty, get it to wake up, Ray. What is it? It's time to smoke.
Number two, the same is true for principals. Number two in the research, and principals are so important because they're the people who onboard, recruit, and develop, and retain our teachers. They need access to the very best curriculum, not just pulling things off the internet, not just finding textbook companies in California and just say, send us some of your textbooks, but we need the very best curriculum.
Okay. Shorty's back. All right. Basically, right? Basically, y'all looking for stable teachers. They're not give y'all the goddamn solution. Evaluate these teachers before y'all hire them. I feel as though, right, deep background checks, evaluations for each teacher, and y'all complain about money, but then more funds should be coming over here. Y'all shouldn't have been sending all them billions out to Ukraine while our cities were suffering, while our kids were suffering. Y'all ain't give a fuck about our cities, our schools, none of that shit just a couple months ago. Y'all was fucking kissing Biden's ass. Now, I'm not going to say everybody. I'm just speaking in general. I don't want people to think I'm just, listen, let's put it like this, right? If the shoe fits, wear that itch. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Let it fly. But all them billions of dollars that y'all were sending out could have benefited our kids. Y'all only sending they're only giving our schools but only a certain amount of money, billions of dollars. Okay, I get it. But to stretch out for 10 years? Come on, man, let's be realistic. Y'all sugarcoating this shit for the media.
Number four, they have to have time, more time on task.
I wish I could just say it like this, right? When I go to a meeting, because I want them to really feel what I'm saying. Because talking professional, right, kind of sugarcoats what I really want them to know, what I really want them to feel. When I talk, I want them to feel everything. Everything within me. I want them to feel the fucking ground shake. I want them to knock their fucking heads and understand what the fuck I'm saying. Because when you talk nice and you talk professional, that shit goes above their heads or under their heads, man. You know what, Ray? Ray, just relax. Calm down, shorty, calm down. I know I'll be talking like, third person type shit. My bad.
More time on task, more time to master.
They closed 3 more schools here. They tripping.
Sure that we make sure that what's going on in the classroom every day is strong core instruction. Core instruction is really important because we can't tutor and mentor our way to significant improvement to reach the board's goals and guardrails. Ideally, we want 80% of our students to master what teachers teach, and that'll be on the average 20% who need some kind of special intervention. And then certainly priority area 5, engage with parents and guardians as equal partners because parents are our children's first teachers.
That's how it should be.
I would like to share now
That's how it should be. It should start from home, but a lot of parents forget that. A lot of parents think, right, that teachers need to be, showing their kids everything. That their kids got to go to school in order for them to learn. Or, they'll give them a tablet and think that the celebrities are the ones they're supposed to, raise our kids. But it really starts from home. Before your child even enters a classroom, your child should know how to say and spell and write their name. Know their birthday. Write their birthday down. Know their home address. Write their address down. And it may sound crazy, but no, it's the reality of it. I mean, did y'all forget how he was brought up? What if your child gets lost and doesn't know how to come back? You think the teacher's going to teach them how to come home? How to write it down for somebody to help them find it? If that person even tries to help them, because let's not forget, we live in a cruel world.
Charge and just get right into the data about how the district is doing. As superintendent, my charge is to certainly push us in the direction so that we meet the board's goals and guardrails
Oh, let's see if we can
on
do it.
time. We've got a window through 2029, 30 to accomplish some really lofty goals.
2029,
The
30?
right kind of work. We are absolutely moving in the right direction to do that.
Wait a minute. I don't know if he was hinting us on something, but I'm about to Google that. What is 2029, 30? That's a Bible? Paul doesn't just criticize the teachings of these false teachers. He also points to their motives. He calls them fierce wolves, Act 2029, who speak twisted things, Act 2030. This may take the form of taking something true and stretching it to a point where it becomes an untruth. I don't know if I'm about to go down a rabbit hole or something. What is Act 29, verse 30? 29, I know that offers my departure. Fierce wolves will come in among you, not sparing the flock. 30, and I'm from among your own selves will arise, men speaking twisted things to draw away the disciples after them. Okay, this John is taking me to the Bible. You know what? That'll be a topic for another day. Why the Bible into this? 2029, 30.
And we also are focused on positioning our school district to be the fastest improving large urban school district, not for bragging rights, but because our children in Philadelphia absolutely deserve it. I was listening to a national conference webinar, and I was actually offended when someone last year, when the data came out that showed that Philadelphia had significantly improved, one of the commentators said, don't expect those kind of results out of Philadelphia.
Oh,
So
shit.
that is just because a city may have a higher poverty rate than some other cities. It doesn't mean that kids' intellectual capacity is any different.
I agree with him.
Let's give that big round of
I agree with him on that, y'all. And I'm gonna pause it right here so we can get the other video started, right? But I agree with him on that. I feel like there's more changes that need to be done. Instead of sugarcoating certain things, I feel as though they need to be more forward with parents, right? Stop hiding, stop lying. It is more to that. Like, and if you go to these meetings, right, in around the communities that you live in, you will know about a lot of things that are happening around you. But that's up to every individual, to each person, right? I feel as though we can make a change and make a difference if we stop making excuses, right? And Megan Kisser says they closed 3 more schools here. That's less, and people not getting that. That's their target. Their target is our kids. The target is our kids.
In the face of darkness,
All right, my bad. So let's get to the last video of tonight's live, right? So I know I'm definitely checking if the word is live. I'm going to check him out. If not, my little behind is about to go to bed after this live. But let's get this started, right? So this was sent to me, right? And I'm just noticed, right? I only gotten into like 3 minutes 4 seconds of this video, but this is supposed to be about trad wives, alpha males, gender relations in the blender. This was sent to me, and I see the weirdest thing right here, right? It says divided we stand. And this is supposed to be from the University of Chicago politics, right? Inspiring thought, empowering action. But divided we stand? Wouldn't it be united we stand? United we conquer. But and divided we crumble. But they're saying divided we stand. Let me see. Among the many divided in the United States and beyond, urban, rural, conservative, progressive, young, old, the most striking and perhaps consequential is the political and cultural gender cleave, especially among young Americans. What underlies the political tensions, declining interest in relationships, and deterioration of even basic communication, 4B Hawk, Twa, Low T, and more have entered the chat featuring Clay Travis, radio host and founder of Outkick, writer and sexual culture critic Madeline Madeline Taylor, and Daniel A. Cox, Director of the Survey Center on American Life at the American Enterprise Institute, AEI, moderated by Hannah Rosen, host of Radio Atlantic and senior editor at The Atlantic. This event is a part of the IOP's Divided We Stand 2025 initiative seeking to deeply explore the differences dividing us. So it's kind of like a controversial conversation. Let's see. I told y'all I was only 4 minutes in. I don't even know what the hell this thing is about. They're just coming in. Y'all got
Hi,
music?
everyone. Do I have to tell you who's who? Can you guess? You know who's who. That's Magdalene. That's Dan, that's Clay. Welcome everyone today. Welcome students, professors, people from the community.
Hi.
This is a really important discussion, and we've convened people with different views and different expertise on the subject, and we hope we will hear from you at the end of it. I'm going to start with some research that Dan has done. Dan is a pollster, and he has been going around college campuses, including this one, talking to young men about where they're at. And he quoted a young man recently, and the man said, "Among my peer group, there's a saying, and the saying is, we're so back."
What?
With the election results, where it's like everybody's very satisfied, everybody's very pleased. We are so back.
I like that kid already.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. So let's start there. That is one really important data point for where America is today at this exact moment, that feeling, that sentiment. I'm reading different people's expressions, and I can already see the reactions. Another, though, is all the other statistics about men in America, that they've been falling behind, dropping out of the workforce, not getting married, not having sex, feeling more lonely, are also still true. And they've been...
Okay, so men, are y'all not having enough sex? Do y'all feel lonely? Y'all not having enough sex? It's okay. Some women feel like that too. Y'all need to talk. Commander, we need HR in this, John. The men need to talk. Should I do an open panel for the men? Y'all feel sexually frustrated? Y'all need a woman in y'all life. I mean, is what she's saying true? It's not coming out my mouth. I ain't say it. They said it. They said it. It's okay, man. Listen. True love will come, right, when the time is right. When the time is right, you will know that she's the right one. Don't go out there chasing that shit like you chasing money. Go chase the money. Then then the lady will come. Belle will come. All right. You'll have your beauty, right? That way the beast could shine.
Been true for a couple of decades. So one thing I want to explore with this panel is, like, on the one hand, we have gloating, we're back. On the other hand, we have some suffering. And so how do those two things fit together? Dan, since you've been going around campuses talking to young men, can you just tell me what you're picking up? Like,
he said, I ain't talking about sex. No. I said, Commander, we need, your HR, you got to let a shorty know. Do we open the panel up, see what's causing the men, from being so lonely? Like, what's going on? What advice do y'all need us to give y'all? I mean, if y'all go watch Out the Word, he gives the sauce out for free on how to stay in a relationship, how to be happy. I mean, he gives y'all the whole 9 yards. Y'all just got to go watch the Word. Go check out the Word. All right, he's a coach. He gives great advice. Trust me, man, there's no reason for y'all to be lonely. I know it's 2025. We was just, got out of this, pandemic. It's so much going on. You got women that are being itches out here. It's understandable. It's vice versa, too. I mean, listen, the women ain't just competing with the women, but they also competing with the men, right? You got the men trying to be women. So I get y'all. Y'all got to sit here, right? And then y'all got to try to tell the difference between the women and the men, because you got these men trying to be women, but y'all got to look so closely to the... And I'm saying, let me go see who's knocking at my door real quick. I apologize. Hold on. Let me see who's knocking at my door real quick, because this dog is about to go crazy. Sit your butt down, little girl. In the old days, love was pure and true. Now it's just a show for all to view. People use it for their own gain, leaving hearts in sorrow and pain. Once a sacred bond, now just a game. Hearts are broken, never quite the same. Love used to be a beacon bright, now it's lost in the shadows of the night. Oh, how we long for those days of yore, when love was honest forevermore. But now it's twisted, tainted and cruel, leaving us drowning in an endless pool. What can we do? In the spiritual world, all seems bright, but shadows lurk in the dead of night. Half of humanity wears a wicked guise, evil deeds hidden behind virtuous eyes. Beneath the surface, a darkness lies, masks of deceit veiling their lies. In this realm where good and evil collide, the line between them is blurred, hard to decide. So tread carefully in this world so grand, for not all that glitters is gold in the sand. In the spiritual realm where illusions endure, evil and good dance in eternal obscure. Just imagine that. Karma doesn't ask you how you want it, it just comes and take it. So be careful how you treat others on your way up the ladder, cause your way down, trust me. In a world of empty stares, fake love fills the air. Sincerity's distant glare, leaving hearts in deep despair. Truth is lost in a web of lies, hiding behind deceitful eyes. Love that fades and slowly dies, leaving us with heavy sighs. Aching souls in a loveless land, yearning for a genuine hand, but fake love rules with cruel demand, leaving us to understand. In this age of like and retweets, we've forgotten what real love truly means. It's not just about show and tell, but a feeling that makes our hearts swell. It's hard to know who's true and who's fake in a world where appearances are hard to shake. But real love is deeper than a profile pic. It's in the way that someone makes your soul. My bad. Go over there. I had to deal with somebody out there. Let's continue. I apologize, man. They're going to run to Dr. Freak paid by company money. HR is sending them to therapy. Yo, we sending them right to therapy. We sending them to a coach. We not sending them to therapy, right? We're not therapists. We're not none of that. But we do know of a coach y'all can go visit just in case, all right? Women, y'all too. Yo.
Anecdotally, no numbers yet, but what kinds of things are you hearing that are sticking with you?
Yeah, and to be clear, we're talking young men and young women.
Oh, okay.
Because we're trying to get a sense of where both sides are on a lot of these issues, and increasingly it's becoming clear that they see things very, very differently. A lot of what we talk about in these conversations, whether it's University of Chicago or UVA or schools out in California where we've also been, is just how you feel about how things are going, your views about dating and relationships. And to talk to folks and to look at the polls, I mean, no one feels that great when it comes to dating and relationships. It seems pretty rough out there. I've been married for 10 years, so it's been a little while for me. But the rise of dating apps and the constant use of social media, people use these things sometimes often, but it doesn't seem to make their lives any better. And so what you hear again and again, particularly at a school like University of Chicago, is you have brilliant young people, really dedicated. A lot of them are talking about postponing their romantic interests or experiences. They're not as engaged when it comes to like sort of traditional youthful dalliances. When it comes to like risk taking and that kind of stuff, you just see it's very, very different than Generation X, for instance, how they grew up and all the stuff that they were involved in. And so you have a really significant but not a gender divide, but a generation divide.
Magdalene, I see you shaking your head.
Damn, he said we have a generation divide. Do we have a generation divide? I see, okay, I'm starting to see why they got that little slogan right there, divided we stand. Because I was getting ready to say, damn, shouldn't it be united we conquer? But they got divided we stand. Like, why are we divided? Well, let's hear what the shorty got to say.
You write about sex. You've talked to everyone from incels to, I'm sure, like your friends who are writers who live in Brooklyn. Like, what are the differences you're seeing in how people are talking about this?
Well, I think it's really interesting you brought up that, this environment here might have a lot of really intellectually motivated people who are delaying gratification towards, a specific end goal. I think that culturally, though, we are seeing a rise of people delaying gratification of having sex, forming relationships, starting families, whatever, toward no specific end. I think that there's a lot of people not having sex and not forming relationships because instead they're, spending a lot of time online.
Wait. You just said there's a lot of people not having sex and not forming relationships. I agree with the not forming relationships, right? But I don't believe and I don't agree that people are not having sex. There's a lot of motherfuckers out here having sex, not forming relationships. You see my point? That's why there's a lot of conversations of, should we go the traditional way? Like a lot of us question a lot of people like, hey, you say you believe in the Bible, you believe in God, you got to follow his tradition, but yet you went and had sex out of wedlock, had kids before marriage, boom, 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 which makes us sinners, right? I mean, we all did it. A lot of us following the trend. A lot of us because we was naive, stupid, and ignorant to the facts. A lot of us because we thought it was cool. And, a lot of people because, it got forced out of them. But you're not going to sit here and tell me that people are not having sex in 2025. Lady, please.
And so I think that to me is how I see the shape of the broader sexual gender culture right now, is unfortunately a little bit more bleak to counter the we're so back. It's perhaps more of a
I really didn't mean to start with like bleak.
Damn. Yo, Commander, do you think I should send this video to Word? I'm gonna give it to him when he goes live. If he goes live today. I gotta say if he goes live today. I'm gonna give it to him. I think he needs to review and react it with us. For real. What you think, Commander? If you still there.
Sex. It was not my intention. But okay, we'll bring you in here, Clay, since you were started on a triumphalist note, and when you're on a podcast, which you have done successfully for so long, it's better to be gloating than to be suffering. It makes for a much better vibe on the podcast. So what do you say about all this? You have people calling into your show, so you can like read the room of people who listen.
Well, so what I would say in general is I don't disagree with a lot of what she just said. I think we have a profound disconnect between how people are making choices and why they're making those choices that are making them unhappy. I've got 3 boys. And I don't know that any of you listen to your parents at all. My boys, it doesn't matter what I do for a living. I'm just, they're dork of a dad. But they're 17, right? They're 14, and they're 10. And I'll give you 2 different angles of things that I talk about with them. A few years ago, my 10-year-old at the time, we walked into Target. I think we were going to get baseball or basketball cards. My boys are big card collectors. And there was an entire section right when we walked in of girl power shirts. Mm-hmm. My 10-year-old said, Dad, they would never make boy power shirts. Mm-hmm. And some of you who might be in your 30s or 40s or 50s might be like, girl power, yay. I think it's important to understand that other people who, like my kids, were born around 2010 are growing up in a different era where they're basically being told not that girls are good, that boys are bad. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what have I ever done that's bad? I'm 10. I don't even get to choose what I eat for dinner. Mm-hmm. How am I responsible for the decline of all of society? Mm. So that's something I think it's cognizant to think about. People say, why did young men overwhelmingly swing, according to the Wall Street Journal, 27 points in the direction of Donald Trump between 2020 and 2024? Frankly, I think a lot of young men are over the bullshit in their mind that they're responsible for everything that's ever been wrong in the history of Western civilization. One of my kids' friends said, like when I go to school now, all they tell us is that white men are bad. And they're like, my mom doesn't even let me pick what tennis shoes I wear to school, right? Like, how can I be that bad? I have no agency myself. Second part of this, and this is where they really roll their eyes. Everybody wants to talk about how the environment's collapsing and climate change is going to destroy us all. I actually think it's because we're not having kids, right? Kids, whatever you think of your own particular political life, are actually an incredible endorsement.
Wait a minute. He just said we're not having kids. I was agreeing with him until he just bursted out with that bullshit lie. We're not having kids. Maybe in the suburb community. But in the hood, Hispanic and Black teens they popping kids out from left to right, up and down. Snap, I think some of them are hanging from the ceiling fan, popping kids all the way down to the damn pool. How they do that, I don't know. Listen, what? I'm in the hood, and every time I look around, there's a pregnant teen. And guess what? We mixed in this hood. Black, Hispanic, white, Chinese, Mexican. I mean, well, Mexican is part of Hispanics, right? But y'all get my point? Shit. Like, wait a minute. Where you at where they not having kids at? Over here, they popping them like crazy. They popping them Johns like they popping perks. They popping them Johns like they popping a Skittle in their mouth.
Of optimism. There aren't very many times where you have a baby and you think, oh, fuck. You're very excited when you become a dad or a grandpa or a mom or a grandma or an aunt or uncle, brother, sister. Babies represent the future and optimism. And when we're not having them, it's not just the United States, by the way. We're actually doing far better than incredible countries like Italy and Japan and South Korea, which are on a trajectory in the lifetime of some of you, particularly you younger guys and gals out here, where basically the country's not going to exist. How does that happen? I think one of the things that's occurring is there is a profound disconnect between men and women. I think you can see it across society. And I think it's why so many people are so profoundly unhappy. And so when I say we're back, I think to a certain extent, part of what this election has represented is, are there men who are jerks and assholes and toxic? Yes. But there are women who are jerks and assholes and toxic too. Yet we've allowed society to teach a lot of men, hey, toxic masculinity is a thing. I never hear anything about toxic femininity. And by the way, you know, Prince Harry's wife exists.
I think there's a lot online about.
Oh shit, he threw a shot at Prince Harry's wife. He said, by the way, Prince Harry's wife exists. Is he trying to say Prince Harry's wife is toxic? Oh snap, I don't know. I feel as though like this Dr. Bull just threw a shot at Prince Harry. Listen.
In this world of blame and shame, we point fingers, we play the game. But as our children cry in fear, we turn the blind eye, we shed no tears. Believe our women, they say, while our kids are led astray. Lost in darkness, lost in pain, yet their cries fall silent like the rain. It's a shame how far we've come, blaming all the men playing dumb. But our children need us near to wipe their tears and calm their fears. In this land of the free, water's a commodity for you and me. Can't you see? It's not fair, it's plain to see. People struggling to pay for something they need every day. In America where we say we're free, but water shouldn't come at a fee. A shorty just speaking in general about the things that seem so small. This ain't meant towards everyone, just a cry in the dark. In America where water is marked. Brothers and sisters, hear my plea. This is not about you or me. Our kids are the future, they hold the key. Wake up before we're met with defeat. In this world of chaos and strife, we must guide them to a better life. Teach them love, compassion, and light, so they can lead us out of this endless night. Let's unite as one strong force. For our children, let's stay on course. Together we can make a change and secure a better future in exchange. Y'all should have listened the first time they let the cat out the hat. Now it's a crime. Many are falling into a trap, thinking it's a game, but they full of cap. Some are ready and fully strapped, while others keep falling into the gap. The warning signs were clear as day, but some chose not to heed what they say. Now the consequences come to light. Those who ignored are in for a fight. Listen close and learn from this mishap. Don't be caught unaware, don't fall into the trap. From the wisdom of my elders, I learned women are strong, independent, and firm. But sometimes we need a helping hand to conquer challenges and make a stand. Independence is crucial, that's true. Yet together with a man we can pursue. Respect yourself first and foremost, so others will treat you like the most. Ladies, growing up, remember this advice. You're capable of anything you devise. But partnership and respect go hand in hand. Embrace your strength and make a stand. Memories of the past I couldn't see, now I understand. The wisdom they gave me, respect yourself first, that's the key. To earn respect from others is how it should be. A man's worth measured by how he treats his queen. Love and romance in the air, a beautiful scene. A woman's power to uplift or demean. In her hands lies a man's dream. Lessons learned from an OG so true. In matters of the heart, they know what to do. Love and respect intertwined like glue in a world where old-fashioned values still ring through. Peter Pan, Peter Pan was a fairy tale. Now males want to be females without fail. Women want to be a man. It's a twisted tale. Flipping scripts and roles, they set sail. Fighting for roles, turning to moles, making hits with their agenda goals. Targeting our kids, it takes a toll. To them, it's a bliss. To us, it's a black hole. They ain't trying to miss. Their agenda is the ultimate twist, infiltrating young minds with their list, but we won't let them persist. I'm with women's rights, but what about men's too? Equality for all, it's long overdue. We want progress, we need to see both sides. Blame and shame won't help us unite. Don't label him a deadbeat without looking in the mirror. Sometimes it takes two to create rupture. Let's have conversations that include everyone. Empathy and understanding, the battles can be won. Men face struggles too, let's not forget. Their mental health matters, let's not neglect. It's time to break down walls and build bridges instead. Together we can strive for equality ahead. You scream for the police every time he come around, then scream child support abuse, playing victim in this town. Enjoy that check, boo, but remember what goes up must come down. The only time he's worthy is when he bails you out the mess you found. You play the game, manipulating hearts without a doubt, but karma's knocking at your door, there's no way out. You point fingers and shift the blame around, but in the end, it's your own chaos that you found. You dance with danger, living on the edge of lies, but the truth will catch up to you, no more disguise. The man you rely on to clean up your mess is so profound, will soon see through your facade and leave you astounded. Using a child as a weapon, it's a shame. A woman who lacks self-respect, I can't acclaim. Real men fighting for what they believe in, never in vain. Standing 10 toes down, bringing awareness to the pain. Respect is earned by how you carry yourself, not by tearing others down for personal wealth. Real men don't back down, they fight with honor and stealth against injustice and falsehoods that threaten our health. Let's uplift each other instead of tearing apart, supporting one another from the start. Real men stand tall with courage in their heart, fighting for justice and truth, playing their part. Here's for the men who share their truth, never afraid to stand tall in their boots, respecting our women, fighting for what's right, supporting our kids day and night. Real women out there blazing trails, men by their side never looking pale. Rights for all, let's keep the balance true. Men have a voice, let's listen to. In this crazy world where battles are fought, let's remember the men who give it all they've got. Respect to those who speak their stories loud. Together we stand strong and proud. Together we stand, united we'll rise, setting an example for young eyes. In every step we take, in every plan, guiding the next generation's hand. Leading by actions, not just by words, teaching them to fly like birds. Showing love and respect in all we do, for they're always watching, taking cues. Hand in hand, let's pave the way for a better tomorrow, starting today. Our children learn from what they see. Let's show them how great they can be. Let's be what our children need.
About toxic femininity.
Not enough.
So,
Not
okay.
enough.
So let me break that down. Two things.
There's a lot of stuff there,
The
but
first
yes.
thing you said about toxic, like your boys being sick of men. I have teenage boys too. So your boys being sick of hearing toxic masculinity, everything's my fault. Curious to hear from you two, like, is it time to retire that term? What about the term toxic masculinity? What do we do with it? Has it done us any good?
I mean, I think one of the problems is that a lot of young men don't have great models for behavior. One of the things, you know, in the conversations that I have are young women will be like, the men that are asking us out, they're doing kind of weird stuff. They're not socialized in a way, like you don't talk to someone you're interested in romantically the same way you talk to your bros. Like you want to express interest. You want to sort of, be, demonstrate that you're willing to, go the extra mile, whatever. And so a lot of the conversations that I've heard have been like in that way, that they're not having these kind of conversations with their dads about, hey, this is how you should act. And then the culture is giving them very mixed messages, right? It's sort of saying, well, you need to be really careful about how you act. Holding the door open is not okay. That is, a negative thing now. And so like, there's a real confusion, I think, for a lot of young men about, well, what do I do? And so I think the results of that is a bit of stasis, that you have people just sort of saying, well, I'm just gonna take a step back. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just gonna focus on myself. That's easier to do, whether it's academics or financially or, focus on my physique. I can do all that easily without running into these problems.
Mm-hmm. And I can be very honest that this, what he just said is vice versa, because he's heard a lot of men say that, but I've heard a lot of young men say that, and I've heard a lot of young women say the same thing. And what's crazy is I feel as though that both our young men and our young women are confused. But see, this is something that we're passing down. A lot of us haven't broken the chains of society and to be who we truly meant to be. A lot of us are following trends, right? And people forget that our kids mimic. They mimic everything that we do, believe it or not. A lot of us may think that the celebrities, right, is what, who they really look up to as role models. But I think that some of us fail to realize that a lot of our kids look up to us. A lot of our kids are still trying to figure it out. Heartbeats not scared. Memories flashing like a slideshow. Feels like all my hopes are crushed, but I'll keep moving forward. Lost in the darkness, searching for a ray of light. Trying to mend what's broken, holding on to what's left inside. Through the pain and tears, I'll find my strength within, rising from the ashes to rebuild and start again. So what's crazy is, right, I see this little trend, right, going not just with I'm gonna call it civil rights, right? Is it all civil rights? Yeah, that's the category it falls into, right? Because even with the racism, right, a lot of us are dwelling in a past instead of trying to, figure out what is going to benefit us here in this era, in this time, because we're going to the past and dwelling on it instead of figuring out, okay, how did they go wrong, right? To figure, to sit here and bring a solution over here in this era. What can we fix now? What could, change? What can't change? Like, we sit here and we turn everything into a debate. Even a solution that gets brought to the table gets turned into a debate without the solution being tried out or tested. So I feel as though what he just said is a vice versa thing, once again.
Magdalene, do you have any views on the term toxic masculinity, like whether it did more harm than good, whether it's like we have to come up with more interesting ways to talk about this?
Yeah, I think that it is unfortunately something that became really flattened, and people began to use toxic masculinity as a catch-all for masculinity writ large. And I think that there's been a conflation there of masculinity itself being toxic, which I do think has had some of the consequences that you're talking about. I do think that increasingly in my circles, I am seeing more of a discussion around toxic femininity possibly being a thing. But I do think overall, kind of as to what you were saying, that the way that we understand how we are supposed to be a man or how we are supposed to be a woman, even if those are ideals we want to strive toward, there's not a coherent message in what any of that even means anymore.
Right. So the picture that you all are painting are like men are somewhat beleaguered, like they're confused, they don't really know what the message is, they're beleaguered. However, weirdly in this moment, or interestingly, or something I can't quite put together, is how it's translated into power, basically. Like usually if you're victimized, you don't, like right now we're in a moment of male power, like the ascendance of male power again in a way we haven't seen in a while. Can you talk about the gender divide? Like, it was a surprising thing how young men were a constituency that Trump tuned into, realized were turning towards him in a way he didn't expect.
Yeah, so I actually first wrote about this like 3 years ago, and looking at some trend data. So Gallup releases this data every year, and you can track it back to the late 90s. And basically, throughout that time, there's not a huge difference between where young men and young women are politically. The similar numbers identify as liberal, similar numbers identify as Democratic. And then beginning around 2016, 2017, you have this divergence, which just explodes. So young women have become much more liberal. Young men have not become much more conservative, at least according to Gallup. but they have become more Republican. So you have this interesting.
Wait, say that again. The men?
They have not identified as more conservative, but they are becoming more Republican. So from the Obama era, young men and young women were Democrats, right? For both elections, strong majorities of young men and young women voted for Barack Obama. And then you had a slow decline, right? This didn't happen in just one election. There's been a deterioration of Democratic identity among young men for over 10 years. And so
are you saying specifically they turn against Democrats?
I'm saying that they are more, yes, they are more Republican now, but not necessarily because they've shifted to the right on issues like climate change or abortion or same-sex marriage.
It sounds like you're saying that men are confused because of politics.
They're still well to the left of their dads and grandfathers when it comes to that stuff. And so you have this really interesting situation where this group, again, looks on paper fairly liberal in a lot of ways. And in point of fact, you had 6 in 10 young men who are moderates vote for Trump, and more than 1 in 5 liberal young men vote for Trump, right? And so if we're going to look for explanations, we need to move beyond issues. We need to understand, like, there's something about Trump that was attractive, and then there's something about the Democratic Party, at least in its current manifestation, that was repellent.
Mm-hmm. You were shaking your head again. What resonates?
Yeah, I just think that there's, it's very hard for people to try to understand the motivations, of somebody they see as different to them. And I think that is, part of the phenomenon that I'm witnessing with regard to this gender war we seem to be experiencing, is kind of an unwillingness to think about why might a young man want to vote for Trump, and why might some of those reasons be something beyond loving fascism or something, for example.
They don't know what fascism is. Nobody does.
So yeah, I mean, I just think there's a lot of confusion right now about what motivates another person, and I think that I was really struck by you saying, especially that even if they are more likely to identify as Republicans, they're still far more liberal than the men of generations before them, and I think that that's something that would surprise a lot of young women like myself to hear that. I was surprised.
Clay, I'm sure it's no mystery to you, because listening to your podcast, it's like 99.9% of people must be.
I kind of get. I think basically what the first guy over here was trying to say, that what drew a lot of men right to vote for Trump is that he's bringing back a little bit of the traditional ways, right, and letting men be men. I think what he's trying to say is that the Democrat Party was making men feel like they couldn't be themselves, couldn't be men. Maybe I'm wrong on what I perceived, on what he said, right? On what I understood, on what he said. I don't know. Maybe I'm right. But I mean, he has a point, because I did notice that a lot of men did vote for him because of what he had in his policy. I mean, even though a lot of people saying that his policy is backfiring on everybody, that, even though he has some messed up stuff on his policy, I'm not going to sit here and deny the fact that a lot of things in his policy does benefit us to be the people. So this is my opinion. Everybody's not going to feel the same. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, right? And you know what? My opinions don't fit well in everybody's teacup.
Trump voters.
Well,
What is it that we're missing about, or what is it that people who are not, as Magdalene said, people who don't understand why? That's my first question. I have a second one, but go ahead.
Okay, so what I would start with is men aspire to be bigger, stronger, and faster than we are, almost universally. That's why superheroes are popular. That's why pro athletes are popular. Who is the most masculine Democrat right now in America?
I don't know.
Mayor Pete.
Who's Mayor Pete?
Is that a gay joke?
No, Mayor Pete. No, it's just that he's not particularly masculine. Nobody's like, oh, Mayor Pete, he's a badass. Chuck Schumer. Is anybody like, hey, Chuck Schumer holding up an avocado and a beer to talk about the Super Bowl? Is anybody like that trying to grill? Is anybody like, hey, that's a dude I want to hang out with?
But Trump's like a grandpa.
Well, hold on.
Hey,
Yeah.
Trump took a bullet in his ear and immediately stood up and said, fight, fight, fight.
Yo, no, he isn't right now. You're sounding like a Trump fanatic. He's like, just because Trump took that bullet, he didn't take the bullet in the ear, man. That John scratched his ear. And it had Trump feeling like, many men wish death upon me, Lord. Then he be like, I'm the man when I walk around. Like, he be feeling like he the man when he walk around. Like, snap.
Every man in America and most of the women out here were impressed by that, even if the women won't admit it. She's shaking her head strong. And second part of this, basically summing it up, Democrats for men are pussies.
What?
And Republicans
Democrats for men
are pussies. There are no masculine men in the Democrat Party right now. And for a lot of young people are going to be upset. For a lot of young men, if you want to talk about what they're looking for, there is a wide range of masculinity that's popular on the internet right now, right? Think about it. Jordan Peterson, who is super philosophical.
Grandpa.
Somewhat, yes, but also super philosophical and frankly, I think almost impossible to understand at times, is wildly popular, right? I would put him on one extreme of someone who young men. On the other extreme is Andrew Tate, right? There is a huge dichotomy between what Jordan Peterson would be saying and what Andrew Tate would be saying. And there's all sorts of people in the middle. I would put myself in the middle somewhere there.
So listen, with what this damn Trump fanatic is saying, right? Men, do y'all really feel more masculine now because Trump is in office? So according to what he's saying, right? Biden took away y'all masculinity. Like, y'all didn't feel like y'all could be fast enough, strong enough. I mean, shit, I didn't see y'all any different. The only thing I didn't like was that there was men trying to be women, right? Taking over the sports, the women's bathroom, the locker rooms, and all that. So, yeah, shit, that's why I say some men got it hard, man. They don't just got to sit here and witness us women compete against each other, but shit, now they got the men competing against us. They got the men that think that they are women competing against us, right? Now you got these men over here trying to fight and unalive women just to get with the man. Shit. Growing up, I saw that in novelas, but it was woman against woman. But you know what? Let me stop before I hurt somebody's feelings, right? Oh, snap. We got Mel Dub in the building. Blessings. We got, make sure y'all go check out Mel Dub. Mel Dub, you could drop your link. People can go check you out. Make sure y'all go check him out. He's got great topics, great conversations. You will not be disappointed. And he talks about what's going on in our schools and with our kids. So, if y'all for the kids and for these schools, make sure y'all go check out Mel Dub. But let's get back to Trump's fan.
Right? But what they all represent is young men searching for masculinity and what it means. And unfortunately, a lot of young men don't have father figures in the household. So you said, Donald Trump may be a grandfather. A lot of people refer to him as Daddy Trump. They're looking for a strong masculine figure in their life.
Yo, if I ever catch any of you men saying Daddy Trump, I'm going to throw a raisin in your head. That's the nicest way I can say it. No, screw that. I'm going to pretend I'm Michael Jackson since we still got that damn non-binary thing. I mean, I said Michael Jackson. Mike Tyson. See, that's what I get for talking shit. That's what I get for talking shit. I messed up. I'm going to pretend like I'm Mike Tyson on y'all asses. Y'all better not call Trump daddy. Listen, I don't know how true that is on what he's saying, but I have not heard a man call Trump daddy yet, okay? Don't do that. Because I'm going to get so irritated and frustrated and say something just like I do when the men says pause when there's women on the panel or right next to them out here in these streets. Like, what the fuck is you pausing for? Like, I wouldn't even think of that or even thought of what you're thinking. Like, if I would have thought you're gay, I would have told you to your face, I think you're gay. What in the world is going on?
He may have a single parent household. It wasn't just white kids who showed up and overwhelmingly started voting for Trump. Black, Hispanic, Asian kids. I think what it represents is masculinity is under siege. We've seen religion decline. You know, if you really want me to drive this room crazy, here you go. Every woman in here right now, they probably won't say it publicly, but one day they would like to be married to a man who makes more money than them and will give them an opportunity to raise kids without having to have a job on their own. Every single one of you, I think that's true.
That sounds
You might
really
not say it
fucking
publicly.
boring, and I'm speaking as a person with 3
I'm
kids.
telling
so
you, it's true.
if you have sat
It's
home with
true.
your children.
Listen, I feel as though the mother should be raising her kids, right? And you know what's crazy? I gotta give a shout out to the moms, right? When they give birth, they stay home, right? They'll raise their kid all the way until their kid has to go to school, and you know, then they'll go to work. So shout out to those moms out there that, you know, that are able to do all these things, and then they do it the best way. They try to do it the best way, right? So I know that there are a lot of women out here that, you know, once they give birth, they won't go back to work until their child hits a certain age, right? And me personally, I like it that way too, because I feel as though, right, you won't miss the first couple of years of your kid's life. You'll be able to educate them, right, and instill in them certain things that you don't want other people to instill in them at all. So I don't have a problem with that. We've come too far to sit here and say that all women should just stay at home and work, right? Now, if you don't have no kids, I don't see a problem with you working. But me personally, like, I prefer to start my own business. As a mother, right? The 9 to 5 is hard. I'm not going to sit here and lie. The 9 to 5 is hard, right? I got 2 kids homeschool, 1 in public school because the dad wants them in school. I want her in school, but shit, I'm against that. I mean, fuck it. Bring them, let them homeschool, you know, go out, find programs, figure it out. But listen, I'm not a fan of public schools, none of that shit. Like, unless we can get these programs back in, we can get more cameras in there, deeper backgrounds into these schools and much more. I'm not a big fan of schools in reality. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie. But at the end of the day, you know, a lot of us don't got the time to really sit here all day. Like, we got to be realistic too, right? So it's like, damn, I disagree with him. Us women have come so far. I'm not going to sit here, man, gotta stay home. Nah, man. It's teamwork too. When you're in a relationship, when he's down, you got to be the breadwinner for that moment. When you down, he's the breadwinner for that moment. In the meanwhile, if y'all could both be the breadwinners, then y'all could both be the breadwinners. You see where I'm coming from? If not, if y'all got to take turns to be breadwinners, then y'all take turns to be breadwinners. What I mean by that is that, you know, if dad got to go to work in the morning and mom at nighttime, then that's how it is. Y'all both being breadwinners, taking turns at it. Shit. But what he just said, I completely disagree. Roger, I mean, I want to see him get a lot of women to agree with this. Just stay at home. I just want you to cook and, how can I say, cook, take care of the kids, and feed me when I say I'm hungry. Okay, Fred Flintstone, shit.
Children all day, you're like, wow, look, give me some more
I'm
of
not
that.
saying I want to stay home with kids all day. I'm saying you want the opportunity to do it.
Really?
That's true. And if you're not thinking it yet, you will be at some point.
Why?
And that's because biology is real, which Democrats also don't believe.
Okay, let's not run.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that I want to stay at home and just raise kids all day. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to enjoy myself. I don't want to work. I don't want to start a business. I don't want to educate myself. I just want to be at home popping kids out the oven all day like I'm baking cake. Huh. What the yo, see, you know what, Rach? Ray, find the right words. Find the right words, because what you're about to say to him and call him, let me just,
You're doing too many provocations.
Too much all at once.
It's too much all at once. Let's slow down the provocations.
I get it. You guys don't get this often.
That's 7. We can only handle one at a time. We're delicate liberals. I'm just kidding, but I'm just the moderator. So I'm going to go back to the Trump and the gender divide. We talked about it from the male point of view.
Yeah.
So from the female point of view, what I understand a lot of the research shows is that a lot of the divide is around like vice, aberrant behavior, that kind of thing. It's like almost men don't tune into that part of it, and women notice that really, really hard, by which I mean like sexual abuse charges, the way they talk. Does that show up in the data?
I mean, I think if you want to understand Trump's appeal, right, there's the masculinity thing. But I think also it's the fact that he, despite having already been president, is still viewed as an outsider. Like, he's not viewed as part of the political establishment. And your generation, at least for the students in here, is the first generation that has never had faith in the political system and our political leaders. So we asked a really interesting question last year, and it was...
I'm sorry to cut him off, but see, that's because it's hard to trust politicians. Are politicians for us?
To what extent, when you were growing up, did you feel like political leaders could generally be trusted? The political system was generally working well. So for baby boomers, for Gen X, and even for millennials, they said, yeah, when I was growing up, we could generally trust the political leadership in this country. But for Gen Z, they never said that. Mm-hmm. So they've always grown up in a country where there's been some amount of suspicion of the political leadership. And then, comes along Trump in 2016 and says, yeah, you're right to be suspicious because they're all freaking crooks.
I meant more like...
Man, and they crooks on both sides. Both sides. Y'all seen all the videos we've been reviewing and reacting. It's like, even with the last video, we were just reviewing and reacting the first part of, our politicians for us, right? But when I was listening to Holly, right, he was coming at Ketanji Jackson, right? But at the same time, he was protecting another judge that was doing the same thing as Ketanji Jackson. But because he went by what the prosecutor said, it was okay. No, right? Because when it comes to these predators, right, especially for people that have, let's talk about a low-level predator, right? For the people that do that share pornography, that share pictures and all that involve kids and stuff like that, right? If the Congress says you can give them up to 10 years, why you as a judge, right, have given a predator 3 months? But then I look at Holly like, damn, you're coming at her for the 3 months, but the judge that, how can I say, the judge that you're covering for gave the victim almost the same amount of time. It wasn't no 3 months. He gave him more time because went by what the prosecutor said, 2 years. But at the end of the day, it's like, wait a minute. If they have the ability to give them more time, why not do it? Yeah. See my point? But y'all gotta go check out them lives for y'all to understand what I'm trying to say.
Like, why do women respond negatively to Trump? Like, there's men responding positively, but there's also women responding negatively to Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I can speak to some of the stuff that we've heard, and some of it's pretty self-evident, right? Like the sexual abuse allegations, the infidelity, like his denigration of women in public. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for people to say this guy is not a role model. And in point of fact, young men may like his sense of masculinity and sort of unapologetic persona. But most of the men I talk to just say like, yeah, I recognize that he's not a good role model in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. He doesn't necessarily have a great relationship with his kids. I'm a dad. I have 2 boys too. And I think there's a way in which that...
Sorry to cut you off. I think he actually has a great relationship with his kids. Yeah. I mean, in all seriousness, I'm not saying he's a perfect husband. He certainly isn't. But all 5 of his kids, based on my experience, and his grandkids, all really love him. And he seems to have, and I've interviewed him 10 times. You can
understand what it is that women are like.
Oh, I certainly understand why some women don't like Trump. I mean, that's not a huge surprise. I mean, a lot of women see him as like the worst guy that they dated. Yeah. Right. In their life. And
or an abusive boss, or like, these are the words that, of the folks that we've talked to. they see in him like, yeah, some of the worst characteristics of people in authority.
Right.
And so like that comes out. And I think that's, not, again, a shocking revelation.
So I see, like, if you have a generation that is kind of anti-authority, anti-institution, women will respond to that as like, he's the worst kind of authority, and men will respond to him like he's outside the authorities.
He's
like,
draining the swamp.
Yeah, he's like draining the swamp. He's something else. Magdalene, a question for you. Here's a position I think women are in sometimes, and I'm asking you to be an anthropologist, not talk about your own personal views. You have this response to Trump. You're like, he's, sexual abuse charges, whatever, infidelity, things that you don't like. But then you're kind of in a position of being like a scold or like a prude or something like that. Like, as a person who happily, openly writes about sex, like, where do you find the line there? Like, how do you criticize something like that without putting yourself in a position of like, school marm?
Well, I think that's kind of a big, something that really represents the turn, of this election is this reaction to the idea of being scorned. I think that is a lot of men who have been pushed, further to the right, who now voted for Trump and maybe didn't previously. I think that the sentiment that I see there is that they are sick of being scorned or called out or, criticized by domineering women. And, it's not exactly a line that I feel like I have to draw in my own work, but I do think that itself is what characterizes this current moment.
I would also just point out, I think many people out there believe that Trump is imperfect in many ways, which he is, but also that he's been held to a standard for both men and women that's different than Biden. For instance, Biden was very credibly accused of sexually assaulting one of his former assistants when he was a senator. It got almost no attention. Bill Clinton was very credibly accused of rape and all sorts of crazy sexual improprieties, including, for those of you who are too young to remember it, banging an intern with a cigarette at the Resolute desk, literally in the White House. That happened. So I think a lot of people.
Wait, he banged Monica Lewinsky? I thought he just, he just got some brain from her. Like, he just got some hair from her. Like, wait a minute. He banged her with a wait, he burned her with a cigarette? Wait, I'm confused. I didn't know about. I'm not even interested. Like, wait, what the fuck? Oh, man, listen, why can't you just say that all the politicians are dirty? They got dirty little secrets that when they come out the, closet, people just be looking at them sideways because they come into this job portraying to be perfect, right? Good people that want to help the, minorities, but at the end of the day, they got, this agenda behind everything. So, hey, I can't agree to nothing to what he's saying. Now, with the other two, I can agree to a lot of what they're saying. But with him, I don't know. I guess we're not seeing eye to eye.
People out there have moved beyond the, hey, I'm going to use the president of the United States in any way as some sort of moral arbiter. And so I think for young people, they feel like they've been lied to. One of the guys that brought me here today said COVID shut down his school in March of 2020, and most of the kids in his school, he's a junior, didn't ever return to school. We failed an entire generation of young people. And I think when you have lived through that, you have a...
Wait, hold up. I got to look at this up. Are there schools that are still closed due to COVID? That's what I'm saying. Wait, what schools are still closed due to COVID? Let me stop saying the word. I'm confused. I think you're just saying stuff just to say stuff, sir.
lot less credit and faith in the government, just like historically, and I'm a history nerd, it took a very long time if you went through the Vietnam War, which maybe I can't see everybody's face. Maybe there's some of you out there that actually had to go through the draft where you sat and watched to see whether or not you're going to be sent to carry a gun and walk around in a jungle and get shot at. When you live through that, you might be pretty skeptical in the 60s and 70s of the government. I think COVID for this generation of young men in particular who got locked up, who weren't allowed to play sports, all of this, they're angry. And when they see Trump, he seems like an avatar for their anger in a way that doesn't necessarily translate. And by the way, I think there's a lot of young women who feel that same anger. And that's why I think, you know, in the CBS poll that came out Monday, Trump's best numbers were voters under 30. He was plus 10. He was better with voters under 30 than he was voters over 65. I just don't think that people have really played in. I mean, you're a lot younger than I am, but I don't think that people really understand, for people who are teenagers or in their 20s, how psychically devastating COVID was. You know, if you're my age, you know, lived at home and did all your work, and you're married for 20 years and you got kids. Like my 10-year-old said, like, COVID was the best year ever because dad and mom were home, you know, all day long, every day, and he didn't have to go to school. You know, we used to get a snow day every now and then. One day in March, they woke up and they didn't have to go back to school for the whole 3 months. So for him, 2020, he was like, everybody keeps saying 2020 was an awful year. It was the best year ever, Dad. So the perspective is different. He was 10.
Yeah.
But I think if you were 14 and you didn't get to go to prom, or you didn't get to play your senior year football season, those kids are angry. And I understand it. And I think Trump taps into that anger, even though he was far from perfect himself on COVID.
Yo, I get his perspective, but I can't agree with what he's saying. So, man, let us really know what y'all think about this whole topic today, man. Let us really know, what do y'all think are politicians for us? Do y'all feel as though that men are looking up to Trump now because they are able to, you know, be more masculine compared to when Biden was in office? Do y'all feel as though that Biden was taking away men's masculinity? And do you feel as though that, you know, he was initiating a war against men and women? I mean, let us really know what y'all think. We're gonna pick up on this tomorrow. We're gonna have a part 2 to this. And I'm gonna have an open panel. Hopefully I get more people to come up. I would love to hear the men's perspective on this. So, you know, all the men that are subbed up, you know, not all the men, but the men that are subbed up, those that are following, right? If y'all interested, I would love to hear y'all perspective. So y'all be more than welcome to come up on the panel, have a conversation with a shorty, man. Let a shorty know what y'all think about this. And do y'all agree with what's being said on this video, right? On that note, y'all, man, this is all the time that a shorty has. I appreciate everybody for coming, for the support. Till next time, this y'all shorty Rachel, and I'm out. What's son up there playing that game? What the hell is he watching?